America, we got to get back to doing what's expected of us as free citizens in this democracy. That means being tolerant, being respectful, staying informed, and being engaged. I'm former Congressman Joe Walsh. Follow me here and join the millions of Americans who are renewing their social contract with each other. The social contract, it's on us. I'm so fucking pissed off. I'm so pissed off at every one of his enablers. I am so damn pissed off at every Republican elected official, at every Trump voter, at every supposedly, principled conservative writer who didn't really like Trump and kind of poo-pooed Trump, but the Democrats suck. So they kind of took this in between, like a pox on both their houses' stances and didn't vote for Trump and didn't vote for Harris because they thought, oh, everybody's bad. Both parties suck. I'm so fucking pissed off at everyone who has enabled this dangerous madman to be in the White House again. They're to blame. Trump's who he is. An utterly horrible human being, the very thing our founding fathers feared. That's who Trump is. That's who Trump has always been. But Trump wouldn't be president. He wouldn't be sitting in our house again without his enablers, without his appeasers, without all of these cowards in my former political party who just didn't want to let go of their careers and their offices and their radio shows and their TV shows and all of that. So they sold their souls because of all of these fascist enablers who sold their souls. They actually sold their country down the river. And again, all of these conservative thinkers and writers who are so enlightened and so intelligent and they don't like Trump, but they didn't go after Trump and they didn't vote for the only person who could beat Trump, who could keep a dangerous fascist out of the White House. They're to blame too. People like Mike Pence and Mitt Romney, they're to blame. Can't vote for Trump, but won't vote for Harris, Joe. They're all bad. And so many conservative talkers and writers and thinkers did the same thing. And now this madman, this fascist is in the White House. And again, let me tell you something. Kamala Harris wins. Kamala Harris is not a fascist. Kamala Harris supports democracy, the Constitution, and the rule of law. You may not like where she stands on certain issues. Big deal. I'll tell you what, Kamala Harris wouldn't be destroying the White House physically right now as we speak. I blame Trump for who he is. I blame his enablers much more. His enablers put him in the White House again. Trump is who he is. He's always been who he is, a psychopath, a pathological liar, an ignoramus. A wannabe dictator. He's ignorant. He's stupid. He's cruel. He's the very worst of us. He's always been that way. But he's president again because cowards and enablers and appeasers and cheerleaders sold their souls, looked the other way, didn't bother to get their hands dirty, wouldn't stand up for this country, and he's back in the White House. And I'm acutely pissed off this morning because the East Wing of the White House is essentially gone. We talked about this yesterday. Trump began demolishing the White House, the East Wing. The East Wing's gone, right? Remember Trump? Trump said, don't worry, I'm not going to touch the current White House structure. We will not touch or alter or change the current White House structure. Trump lied. He lies as he breathes. And by the way, anybody at this point who believes anything Trump says, man, you got issues. He doesn't. You're the one with issues, not Trump. Keith, I don't know what you have, if you have one of the latest pictures. Just keep that up for a sec, everybody. The East Wing of the White House is basically gone. It's gone. The entire East Wing of the White House has been demolished. Keep that up for a sec, Keith. It's gone. Started demolition Monday. And rightly, a lot of people got pissed off. And Trump's people came out and said, oh, no, we're just going to touch part of it and blah, 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 blah. The whole damn wing is gone. And fuck anybody. When Trump said a couple months ago, I'm not going to touch the East Wing. I'm not going to touch the West Wing. I will not touch any current White House structure, Trump said. Fuck anybody who believed him then. Thanks, Keith. I'll move on. But I just need to say this. Because you don't come back from this, America. You don't. Shame on us. And it would be so easy for me right now to just say, hey, you know what? You put him back in the White House. You deserve everything you're going to get. We get the government we deserve, man. No White House. Trump's going to turn the entire White House into Mar-a-Lago, man. Hey, America, you voted for it. It would be really easy for me to do that. I'm not. I can't let go of this. I won't let go of this. The entire East Wing is gone. Our house, your house and my house, our house, not his house. He doesn't own that house. We do. This is what should make every American with a pulse profoundly sad and angry. The entire East Wing of the White House is gone. The entire structure of the White House has been changed by one man. No vetting at all. No congressional approval, consultation at all. No permits, no approvals. No commissions, none of the commissions, the committees, the historical boards, none of them, the National Park Service, none of them, no approvals, no vetting, no permits, no nothing. All one man just saying, fuck it, I'm going to do it. Like a 4-year-old. Fuck it, I'm hungry. I want that piece of candy. I'm eating. And nobody stops him. One man. One madman. One very bad man. One un-American man. Did this all by himself. No Congress, no consultation with Congress, no vetting process at all, no approval process at all, no permits to do anything to the structure of the White House. The historical boards, screw you. Park Service, you manage the property of the White House, screw you. Just one madman, all by himself, has forever changed the people's house. And I got to be honest, I'm profoundly sad. I'm a big fan of Jim Acosta. I went on Jim Acosta's Substack live show yesterday, and I wasn't angry. I'm profoundly sad by this. I look at that image of the East Wing of the White House gone, and I kind of want to cry. I get sad. And, but then there's a part of me that says, I don't know what it's going to take to wake people up. One man did this. One man did this to your house and my house. I know most Americans, I know a lot of Americans viscerally reacted like I've reacted to these images. It's like something's been taken away from us. It's like somebody stole something from us. But there's a part of me that believes, well, fuck it. I mean, I wake up every day and I yell and shout, wake up, wake up, wake up, everybody. Wake up, wake up, wake up, everybody. The very thing our founding fathers feared is in the White House. Wake up, wake up. I grab my musket every day. Boom, boom, boom. Go to political war every day. Wake up, wake up, wake up. We've got to stop him. He's a fascist. Look what he's doing. He's attacking free speech. He's prosecuting his political enemies. He's disappearing brown and black people off of our streets. He's denying people student visas to come into this country if they criticize Charlie Kirk. The list goes on and on and on. He's a fascist in the White House. Wake up, wake up, wake up, I scream. And when I do that, there's a part of me that thinks, well, doggone it. The American people, I guess, just got to wake themselves up. And the American people got to feel pain. And the American people need to be shocked into action. And people who voted for him, I don't know what it's going to take. I kind of do know what it's going to take. But maybe people who voted for him who are really sad this morning because he's just fucked the whole White House. Maybe this will bother them. Maybe this will wake them up. Maybe this will make them realize that one madman should not all by himself. I mean, it would be like, I don't think this is crazy. Keith, I don't think this is crazy. What if Trump next week began demolishing part of the Washington Monument? He wanted to change the shape and the structure of the Washington Monument. I don't think that's outrageous. I mean, I think Trump would do that if he wanted to, like change the Washington Monument, kind of reshaped it a little bit to look more like Mar-a-Lago. I don't know. Don't laugh at me. Don't say I'm crazy, because he's doing this to the White House and he's got no claim on that. He ignored the entire process that needs to be gone through to even think about messing with the structure of the White House. Trump said, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I want my fucking ballroom. Now think about this. If Trump next week began demolition on the Washington Monument because he wanted to reshape it more into a T for Trump, I'm serious. Would the American people stand up and be outraged? If Trump next week began demolition on the Washington Monument to make it more of a Mar-a-Lago looking thing, would Republicans stand up and say anything? Would Republicans in the House and the Senate say anything? If Donald Trump took a bulldozer and a backhoe and whatever to the Washington Monument? Why would they? I don't think any Trump voter would say anything. I don't think any Republican would say anything. I don't think anybody on Fox News would say anything. All these smart, principled conservatives who think they're above kind of this fight, I don't think they'd say anything. Donald Trump has taken a bulldozer to the east wing of the White House, knocked it down, and nobody's saying anything. None of his followers are saying anything. My God, the Senate Republicans had lunch at the White House yesterday, and Trump's laughing about the sounds of construction in the background. Don't 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 tell me. Don't insult my intelligence, please, and tell me that if Trump began demolishing the Washington Monument next week, first of all, don't tell me he wouldn't do that, right? Don't tell me he wouldn't do that. Please don't do that. Please, love your show. Don't insult my intelligence and tell me that Trump, if he felt like it, if he wanted the Washington Monument to look more like Mar-a-Lago or to be shaped like a giant T, don't tell me that if Trump wanted to do that, he wouldn't do it. First of all, don't tell me that, because that's a lot like telling me that if Donald Trump loses an election, he'll do the decent thing and concede and accept the result. Do you understand that we're long removed from that? So please don't insult my intelligence and tell me that Trump will follow any norm, rule, or law or obey democracy. Don't tell me that. That's like telling me again that if Trump and Republicans lose in 2028, Trump's just going to automatically leave the White House, physically leave the White House. Don't insult my intelligence and tell me that that will automatically happen. Not after everything they've done. I mean, we're who are we talking about, guys? We're 4 weeks. We're over 4 weeks. Think about this. Over 4 weeks ago, a Democratic congresswoman won an election in Arizona to go to Congress, and Trump's party has still not sworn that congresswoman in. Don't insult my intelligence, please, and tell me that Republicans would stand up and scream if Trump started to demolish the Washington Monument. Please don't. Please don't. I mean, look what they're doing now, right? Texas and Missouri and North Carolina now. They've started this mid-decade redistricting, unheard of. They're openly cheating with the 2026 midterms. Don't do that. Don't tell me that Mike Johnson, Speaker Johnson, and Republicans, if in fact there's an election next year, and if in fact Democrats take back the House, please don't insult my intelligence and tell me that Republicans will automatically relinquish control if they lose the House. Don't tell me that. They've proven, Trump and his party have proven they will break every rule, norm, and law to stay in power. They've convinced 80% of the voters in my former political party never to accept an election loss. So please don't insult my intelligence. Not when I look at that image of the East Wing of the White House gone. One man did that all by himself. Again, didn't involve Congress at all, didn't involve any of the committees, any of the commissions, any of the historical boards, no approvals from any agency to do what he did. No approvals, no vetting, no permits, none. And not one Republican has said anything. So, no, I believe if Donald Trump next week began demolition on the Washington Monument because he wanted it to look different, Not one fucking Republican would stop him. And I'd hear on TV, and I'd hear so much normalizing, and oh, but the Democrats, and oh, blah blah blah, on TV from all the smart commentators. Um, I- he could do it. And think about that for a moment. That's where we are as a country. That the current president could begin demolishing the Washington Monument next week, and nobody would stop him. Think about that. Don't tell me somebody would stop him. Don't. Keith, can you show me that image one more time? Don't tell me someone would stop him. The East Wing of the White House is gone. Nobody stopped him. He did not have the authority to do that. He did not get the approval to do that. So, thank you, Keith. Do not tell me that someone would stop him if he did the same thing to the Washington Monument. And while I'm on it, you saw this yesterday. Donald Trump pressuring the Justice Department to pay him $230 million. Thank you, Keith. Trump wants the Justice Department to pay him $230 million for damages because of the investigations, the prosecutions he had to go through when Russia screwed with our election, and then Jack Smith indicted him and investigated him for trying to overthrow the 2020 election. Keep that up for a sec, Keith. No matter where you stand on that indictment, on those indictments, on that investigation, this is Trump saying, for damages, all the crap I had to go through, I want the American taxpayer to pay me $230 million. Compensate me, reimburse me. Trump, the president of the United States, is pressuring the federal government to pay him $230 million for previous investigations he went through before he was president again. Now, again, put aside, thanks, Keith, the investigations. When you look at this, and when this broke yesterday, again, there was outrage. No outrage from Trump supporters, no outrage from Republicans, no outrage from Fox News, but from everybody else, like people who oppose Trump, Democrats, everybody else outraged. Oh my God. The sitting president trying to force his Justice Department to pay him $230 million, taxpayer dollars. Like, outrageous, outrageous, outrageous. Everybody screamed all yesterday. And I didn't scream that all day yesterday. I didn't scream that at all. I thought to myself, well, from Trump's perspective, why not? Makes perfect sense that Trump would think that that's okay. Made perfect sense that Trump would not think there's anything corrupt for a sitting president to order his Justice Department, our Justice Department, his cronies at the Justice Department to pay him $230 million for past DOJ investigations. Like, it's not at all outrageous or surprising that Donald Trump thinks that's okay. And when you listened to Trump yesterday, he laughed about it. I went through a lot of hell. I don't see anything wrong with it. I need to sue the Justice Department for all the damages and all the pain that I had to go through. By the way, damages and pain that he had to go through because he tried to overthrow an American election. So the Justice Department rightly investigated him, and he tried to stop the investigation into what Russia did in our election in 2016. Our Justice Department did right, had every right to investigate him for potentially committing crimes, but put all of that aside. Donald Trump, it's not at all surprising. Like, I guess that's the theme today. It's not at all surprising that Trump thinks he can turn the White House into Mar-a-Lago all by himself. Doesn't have to get approval from anybody. It's not surprising that Trump thinks that way. It's not at all surprising that Trump thinks he can grab $230 million from the Justice Department. The point is, it's not surprising that Trump thinks that way, because Donald Trump has always thought that way, and no one has ever stopped him. Do you understand? Like, again, I blame Trump, but I blame Trump for who he is. But oh my God, no, the story here, the story with the East Wing gone, the story with the Trump wants $230 million from the Justice Department. The story is his enablers have allowed this to happen. They're to blame. I guess a healthy way to think about it is Trump is like not a 4-year-old. Trump is like a 2-year-old, right? Just all instinct and all I want. I'm mad. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I got a dirty diaper. That's what Trump is, right? That's Trump. And it's the parents. It's Trump's enablers over the past 10 years who've taught Trump like a 2 to 3-year-old child, who've taught him to get what he wants. We've all seen kids like that. Parents never say no. Parents who never hold their kids accountable for anything. Parents who never punish their kids. Parents who never teach their kids right from wrong. That's what Trump is. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with him all by himself demolishing the East Wing of the White House. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with him coming out, as he did yesterday, threatening to put 155% tariff on everything coming from China. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with that. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with the federal government owes me $230 million. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with it. The point is, we should all be really a lot more pissed off at his enablers because they've taught him to be this way. They've trained Trump. Republicans have. His enablers have. The people who work with him have. Our courts have. Colleges and universities that bend their knee to him have trained him. Law firms that settled with him have trained him. Big tech billionaires who, when he won, they came to him with great prizes and said, "You're the greatest," with great gifts. "You're the greatest. You can do anything you want. We'll be there for you." They've all told Trump, all of these enablers, all of these appeasers, all of these cowards have told Donald Trump day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, that he can do whatever he wants. He can lie every time he opens his mouth, and it doesn't matter. I mean, I say this a lot. Look at where we are, right? I'm devastated that he's demolished the East Wing of the White House. Because where I come from, 5.5 years ago, he tried to overthrow an American election, and nobody held him accountable for that. And I said at the time, I've said a bunch since, if you're Donald Trump, if you're this 2 to 3-year-old child who just responds, "I'm hungry, I got a dirty diaper," and that's all you are, and you did something like that, you tried to overthrow an American election, and nobody held you accountable for that? Trump thinks he can do anything. After Jan 6, Trump knew he could do anything. No, my mantra, it's been my mantra for a long, long time. Blame Trump, sure, all you want. But blame his enablers and his appeasers way more. Way more. And everything Trump is doing right now, every lawless, corrupt, criminal, cruel, ignorant, un-American thing Trump is doing right now, blame Trump, but man, blame his enablers and his appeasers, the cowards around him, even more. And we're seeing it every day. There's an example of it every day. His appeasers, his enablers, his cowards have taught him he can do anything and say anything and never, ever pay a price. And I'm going to close with this. He's openly, Trump is, fucking with the 2026 election. Openly. On a number of fronts, and it's going to get worse. He's going to try to cheat in every which way. He's going to try to cheat in 2026. He's going to try to mess with the 2026 elections. He's going to try to postpone, put off the 2026 elections. And remember, he's going to do this because he believes he can do anything, and he doesn't believe there's anything wrong with that. Trump doesn't believe there's anything wrong with him demolishing the entire East Wing of the White House. Trump doesn't believe he's done wrong. He's going to try to demolish the 2026 elections. And you can bet your bottom dollar that all of his appeasers and all of his enablers will once again let him. I mean, they're doing it now, right? Line them up, right? Back in April, Trump calls Texas Governor Greg Abbott and says, fuck it, we need to cheat in 26. I want you to do this thing. I want you to redistrict now. And Abbott probably said, but Mr. President, in America, we redistrict every 10 years at the end of every decade after a census. That's when we do it, Mr. President. And Trump said, no, fuck it. Let's just cheat. I don't care. Let's just do it. Let's do mid-decade redistricting. And Greg Abbott, a coward, an enabler, an appeaser, said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can I have another? That's just one way they're trying to cheat. And his enablers and his appeasers won't stop him. Blame Trump. Blame his enablers even more. Thanks for listening. My Substack is socialcontractwithjoewalsh.substack.com. Socialcontractwithjoewalsh.substack.com. Help me keep my voice out there. Here's the best way to do it. Subscribe to my Substack. Oh, gosh, that would be awesome if you could. That helps me keep my voice out there. Shoot me an email as well about anything that's on your mind. The Social Contract with Joe Walsh at gmail.com. The Social Contract, all one word. The Social Contract with Joe Walsh at gmail.com. Keep the faith. We keep fighting. We keep resisting. Thanks for listening. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, share, and follow The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review.